Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be breaking down every single game from Sunday's slate of the Week 4 NFL season. We're going to be talking about fantasy football trade targets, maybe some waiver wire ads, maybe some guys who are moving up, some guys who are moving down, all of that jazz in this video. Now, if you guys want a full in-depth trade target video, full in-depth waiver wire, full in-depth defensive streams, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. I put out so much content every single week to help you guys achieve eating a W like your name was famous, Jameis Winston, at the end of your fantasy football season. So please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. So let's get into it. Week 4 game recap. We'll begin here with my Miami Dolphins going up against the Seattle Seahawks in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The Seattle Seahawks improved to 4-0 after defeating the Miami Dolphins 31-23. Now, this game was pretty interesting because Russell Wilson, I honestly thought, would be the best fantasy football quarterback on the week and really didn't put up the greatest of games. 23 of 34 for 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Now, that is a pretty fucking solid game, if I'm being honest with you. 4 for 5 in the rushing game for Russell Wilson, but it just has not been as good as what he has done in the past couple of weeks, and I expect him to have a bounce-back week coming up in week number 5. I don't really see any reason why he would do bad. I mean, he had a pretty solid game, and I think that it was just because the Dolphins defense was actually looking pretty solid in this game. They're really kind of stopping the passing game and forcing them to run the ball. With that said, Chris Carson 16 for 80 and 2 tutties in this game. I really saw no way that Chris Carson was going to be 100% healthy for this game. That's why I kind of advised a lot of people to sit him in the Q&A before the games that I do every single Thursday and Sunday. It turned out Chris Carson went absolutely fucking crazy, and I was completely wrong. I will be the first one to admit when I'm wrong in a situation, so I will agree and admit that I was wrong there. Chris Carson seems like he's a weekly starter. Even after that injury last week where it seemed like he wasn't going to be 100%, he still went out and balled out in this game. Chris Carson's just a lock to be in your lineup from here on out. DK Metcalf, only 6 targets in this game. Doesn't fucking matter. 4 for 106 in this game. DK Metcalf ate the Miami Dolphins for fucking breakfast. David Moore, 3 for 95 and a tug. Tyler Lockett, 2 for 39. No touchdown on 4 targets. Very bad game out of Tyler Lockett, but again, don't really expect him to have another bad game coming up. Travis Homer, 1 for 3 and 1 touchdown. He actually kind of scored when Chris Carson, I believe, was down in that game. He ended up getting banged up, but returned to the game. For the Miami Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick did not look like the guy that I picked up and wanted to play well, but he did go 6 for 47 and a touchdown in the rushing game. For the passing game, though, not as hot. 29 for 45, 315 yards, and 0 touchdowns, 2 INTs. As a Miami Dolphins fan, my assessment on this game was that the Dolphins needed to kind of actually try and fucking score. Instead of in the third quarter kicking a field goal, you need to try to step on the throat of the Seattle Seahawks and throw a touchdown. Try to score on 4th fucking down. Do not just fucking kick the field goal. Do not settle for that, because that's all the Dolphins were doing, kicking field goals, and that's how, in my opinion, you lose a game, by not being aggressive enough. Next week, I believe the Miami Dolphins are going to bring out Tua Tagovailoa, I believe, out of Alabama. This is the week to do it, going up against the 49ers. Will it happen? I fucking hope so. Will it realistically happen? Probably not, but I hope that next week's the week we see Tua. For the rushing game, Myles Gaskin, 10 of 40. Very disappointing game out of Gaskin. Now, I don't understand why they weren't running the ball more, considering they were really close to the Seahawks pretty much the whole game. Had the Dolphins not have went full dumbass mode and actually played defense right before the end of the second quarter, where David Moore caught that long dart from Russell Wilson, this would be a completely different story of a game. I'm still very confident Myles Gaskin is an excellent player for your fantasy team. If he's still available on the waiver wire, I would 100% put in for him. 3 for 22 in the receiving game as well. Not an excellent game out of Gaskin, but I expect him to be much better in the future. Matt Breida did look solid in this game. 3 for 9, obviously, but in the receiving game, he was 3 for 39. In the receiving game for the Miami Dolphins, Devontae Parker went to fucking pound town on that Seattle Seahawks ass, and it seems like he is the go-to receiver for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Very disappointing game out of Mike Gesicki, 1 for 15. Devontae Parker, 10 for 110 on 12 targets. So kind of disappointing game from Gesicki, though. I really expected a much better game out of him. But then again, if they were kind of going for it instead of pussyfooting around and just trying to fucking tie the game, it was so annoying. They were playing playing not to lose the Dolphins instead of playing to win the game. That's kind of how I felt about it. Overall, a solid game from Russell Wilson. I expect bigger things out of him, though. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett will be fine, though. One bad game doesn't necessarily make the whole season, considering he's one of the best wide receivers right now in fantasy football. Now, this is the main game that I want to talk about right here as a man who loves Joe Mixon. I am Joe Mixon's number one fan. The Cincinnati Bengals win 33-25 to improve to 1-2-1. Joe Burrow played quite well in this affair. 25 of 36 for 300 yards, 1 tutty, and 1 INT. Joe Mixon went to town on that Jaguars ass. He ate that Jaguar for fucking lunch in this game. Joe Mixon, 25 carries, 151 yards, and 2 fucking touchdowns. 6 for 30, and guess what? Another touchdown in the receiving game. Joe Mixon showed to me today what he should have been doing all season. I understand this is against the Jaguars defense, but if you feed Joe Mixon, good things will happen. In no other games were these motherfuckers feeding Joe Mixon like they were. In the receiving game, he got more targets this game than Mr. Giovanni Bernard. Normally, Giovanni Bernard gets all these dump-offs, gets all these bullshit passes that in reality should be going to Joe Mixon, but that coach Zach Taylor is too much of a fucking dumbass to give it to him. In this game, Joe Mixon absolutely dominated. This is the Joe Mixon you drafted in the first or second round to see. Do I expect it to keep up? Fuck yeah, I do. Because if I'm being honest with you, I thought all it would take was one big game out of big dick Joe Mixon to be able to roll out there and be great for your fantasy team. So I'm continuing riding high on the Joe Mixon train. I'm not trading away Joe Mixon. I'm riding the train, choo-choo, all aboard on the Joe Mixon train. Is it smart to trade him right now? Yes, because right now would probably be his highest value because he scored 3 touchdowns. He's probably never going to do that again this season. But with this said, I think he's going to be able to maintain a high total of carries in this game. 25 carries. I expect him to be around 20 plus now on a weekly basis. Week 5, they play up against the Ravens, so obviously more of a worrisome matchup for Mixon, but I'm still going to be confident firing him up there as long as the Bengals give him the touches. I don't care if he's rushing it. I just want him to get the ball in his fucking hands because he was doing wonders with it, as well as in the receiving game. For the receiving game, Tyler Boyd went off again. 7 for 90 on 8 targets. Titty Boy T. Higgins, 4 for 77 on 7 targets. And A.J. Green, that schlub motherfucker, 1 for 3 on 5 targets. Are you kidding me? Well, you're not really kidding me because I knew this was going to happen. A.J. Green fucking sucks a fat wee-wee on the weekly basis, so don't play A.J. Green anymore. I've told you guys I don't like A.J. Green. I've told you guys to cut A.J. Green. You should have done it by now. This guy is an absolute schlub. No need to have him in your lineup. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, Gardner Minshew returns to form. 27 of 40 for 351, 2 tugs, and 1 INT. Gardner Minshew, clearly a great quarterback stream in fantasy football. I was not really worried last week about the quarterback after his kind of faltering in Miami, but now I still continue to expect big things out of the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, Gardner Minshew. He's going to try his best to make sure they don't draft big man Trevor Lawrence so that he still can continue to have his job. James Robinson, 17 of 75 yards. Now, not the big game that I expected out of him, 4 for 32 in the pass-catching game, but again, another solid game out of James Robinson, a guy you just picked up off the waiver wire. I'm very sorry to anyone who I told to start James Robinson over Joe Mixon because I just felt much safer with James Robinson, but now my love for Joe Mixon, it's like that fucking thing in the Grinch movie where his heart gets really big. That's how I felt about Joe Mixon. I've loved Joe Mixon all season. I was not ready to give up for him. I said this was his matchup. If he doesn't do good in this matchup, then I was done with him, and he was actually able to perform here. So now I'm more likely to be all back on that Joe Mixon train, but I told a lot of people to start Mixon today, so don't hop on me about that. Next one here in the receiving game, Baby Chark, Baby Chark, 8 of 95 on 9 targets and 2 total tuggies for DJ Chark. An excellent game out of Chark. I expected him to play good. I told you guys to start him all stream long, and by God, did that pay off. 5 of 86 for Laviska Shenault. Keelan Cole, 4 of 46, so a solid game out of those wide receivers. Next game here to talk about here, we got the Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings. Now, as a Miami Dolphins fan, I was very happy with the result of this one, considering the Miami Dolphins have that Houston Texans pick. The Texans fall to 0-4 to the Minnesota Vikings, now 1-3, 31-23. You like that? Kirk Cousins had quite the solid game here. 16 of 22 for 260 yards and 1 touchdown. What the Minnesota Vikings are trying to do is negate any struggle for Kirk Cousins by just running the ball 7 million fucking times. Dalvin Cook legitimately bent over the Houston Texans without any use of lube and went in on them. 27 of 130 for 2 tuggies in the receiving game, 2 for 16. Excellent game out of Dalvin Cook. You can expect this on a weekly basis. I like Dalvin Cook in the offseason. My only worry was injury. The guy still hasn't gotten hurt, knock on wood, so he's putting up a great season, kind of like you could have expected. 7 for 17 and 1 for Alexander Madison. And Adam Thielen 1 for 8 in the in the rushing game. For the receiving game, Adam Thielen 8 for 114 and a tuggy. Justin Jefferson 4 for 103. Justin Jefferson's a weekly start at this point. It seems like even if the Vikings are not going to pass the ball 30 plus times a game, they probably won't. It doesn't even fucking matter because Justin Jefferson is a goddamn machine. I feel like I was very wrong about kind of telling people to sit him and wait one more week to see how Justin Jefferson played. That was kind of wrong. Justin Jefferson balled the fuck out, and now I will feel very confident starting him on a weekly basis. Adam Thielen obviously does his thing, 8 for 114 and 1 tug. For the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, 20 of 33 for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. David Johnson, 16 for 63, even up against a putrid Vikings defense. David Johnson was not really able to get it going, but then again, Houston was kind of down the whole game. So, yeah, really not a great game, though. David Johnson did get 2 for 29 in the pass-catching game to kind of salvage a not-so-hot game. Will Fuller, the guy that you just have to play every single time that he's healthy, 6 for 108 and 1 touchdown. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about it. Will Fuller is just a natural-born motherfucker who's just going to score 7 million points one week, and the next week, fuck you right in the ass. But it doesn't seem to matter because Will Fuller is the king of doing that. Jordan Atkins, 3 for 46. Kenny Stills, 2 for 39, and a tug. Randall Cobb, 2 for 36. I mean, what are the Houston Texans doing? How are they 0-4? I have no fucking idea, but I expect them to at least win one game before the end of the season. Like, come on. Come on, they're better than this. Very weird to see. I'd be interested to see what their schedule is. I'm not going to really talk about that in this video because I don't think it's super important. But I do expect Deshaun Watson to continue to be pretty good in fantasy football. And obviously, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, and Jefferson are going to just be must-starts now on a weekly basis. Next game here, we got the Cleveland Browns against the Dallas Cowboys. How about them boys? The Dallas Cowboys fall 49-38 to, you read it correctly, the Cleveland Browns. 30-1 the Cleveland Browns are. The Dallas Cowboys are 1-3, now second in the division after the Eagles beat the 49ers in an upset. The Browns won 49-38. I'll say it again. How in the actual titty fuck did that happen? The Cleveland Browns went into Jerry's World. They put on their own cowboy hat, and the Cleveland Browns rode their way into the end zone 7 zillion goddamn times. Baker Mayfield, 19 of 30 for 165, 2 tutties. Jarvis Landry, 1 for 1 on a dime. 2 Odell Beckham Jr., 1 touchdown on 37 yards. Odell, 2 for 73 in the rushing game and 1 touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 11 for 71 and 2 touchdowns. Now, this is something important to note. Nick Chubb does end up getting hurt. Seems like it's not going to be a season-ending injury. We'll know more later today about that. Very sad to see. Obviously, if Chubb's out, Kareem Hunt's going to be excellent. For the receiving game, Odell Beckham Jr., 5 for 81 and 2 touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns on the day. I was very wrong about Odell in this game, and I'll admit that again. Odell Beckham Jr. really is the weirdest player in fantasy football. It seems like he has these awful games where the Browns just look like shit, and there's other games where the Browns just start rolling. So I really think the way you got to determine, I guess, starting Odell is based on the defense they're playing. I should have seen this coming. I think I listed him as a start, but I just wasn't ultra confident in it. Boy, was I wrong on that. Odell has really proved me wrong this season, considering how awful he's been. Part of the games this season, though, he's had 2 good games and 2 awful games, so still kind of inconsistent. Jarvis, 5 for 49, solid game out of him. For the Cowboys, though, they were playing like dog shit until the fourth quarter. They just turned it on again. It looked like they could have won and came back again, kind of like they did against the Falcons. This Cowboys defense, though, is complete and utter ass cheeks. It seems like I could score a touchdown against them. Dak Prescott, 41 and 58 for 502 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 INT. Zeke, 12 for 54. Very bad game out of Zeke. 8 for 71, though, in the receiving game to kind of redeem it. Tony Pollard, 3 for 16 and 1 touchdown, kind of stole Zeke's touchdown. Amari Cooper is just on a fucking bender. He is on an absolute heater right now. He's like on a Jordan Belfort-esque bender right now. 12 of 134 and 1 tug. CeeDee Lamb, 5 of 79 and 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, one of the tight end pickups of the week, 4 of 72 and 1 touchdown. Man, this fucking offense is unreal. Aside from Michael Gallup, 2 of 29. How the fuck does Dak throw for 500 yards and Michael Gallup only gets 29 yards? I mean, I expect bigger things out of him the next coming week, so don't go ahead and just get pissed off at Michael Gallup and try and get away from him. He will be fine, but CeeDee Lamb really does look like the real deal. I don't know what type of dumbass pills the Las Vegas Raiders took when they drafted fucking Henry Ruggs instead of CeeDee Lamb. What a bunch of dumbasses. But how about them boys, though? Another loss, 1-3, probably will still end up winning that god-awful NFC East division. If you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. It's free, again, like I said, off the rip, and you guys will enjoy all the videos I put out here. I promise that I will put my seal of approval on all these videos because they are excelente, as they would say in Espanol. The Baltimore Ravens roll the Washington football team in Washington 31-17. The Washington football team falls to 1-3. Again, still could probably win the division. Any team in the NFC East looks like they could win this division, probably besides the Giants. The Baltimore Ravens 31-3-1 now on the season after that terrible L to the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a bounce back game. Lamar Jackson 14 of 21 for 193, 2 tugs and 1 INT in the rushing game, 7 for 53 and 1 touchdown. He rushed for a 50-yard fucking touchdown, I believe, in that game. Hit him with the happy feet, and the motherfucker fell over. It was beautiful. It was vintage Lamar Jackson. By vintage, I mean Lamar Jackson of last season. The Baltimore Ravens got absolutely disrespectful with it, and they did a fake punt. Sam Coach, 1 of 1 for 15. RG3 came in the game, 0 for 1 and 1 INT. They should have brought in Trace McSorley. Baltimore rushing attack. Gus Edwards, 9 of 38. Mark Ingram, 8 for 34 and a touchdown. Again, this situation is awful in Baltimore. Sell Mark Ingram. Trade him off your fucking team before this happens again because it is a shit show there. So many carries going to every guy. 9 for Gus, 8 for Mark Andrews, 5 for J.K. Dobbins. You're going to have no idea what to do on a weekly basis. The only startable option is the guy who scores a touchdown, and that is very hard to predict on a weekly basis. For the receiving game, Marquise Hollywood Brown, 4 of 86 on 8 targets. Mark Andrews, 3 catches, 57 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Just as predicted, Mark Andrews gets a little bit sexual on that Washington football defense. Baby, 2 touchdowns. It was bound to bounce back. I mean, he had 2 shit games in a row. You could have seen this coming from a mile away. Great game out of Mark Andrews. One of my trade targets for the week looked like that one paid off. The rest of the team, just a bunch of fucking schlubs. Really just Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown, both having bounce-back games, as well as Lamar Jackson. For the Washington football team, Dwayne Haskins looked pretty good. 32 of 45 for 314 yards. No tugs, no INTs. Another touchdown, back-to-back for Antonio Gibson. 13 of 46 and 1 touchdown in the rushing game. For the receiving game, Antonio Gibson, 4 of 82, so a very solid game out of AG. Terry McLaurin, 10 of 118, no touchdown. Terry McLaurin getting fed the rock 14 times in this game. Terry McLaurin, even on an awful Washington football team, is a must-start pretty much on a weekly basis. Next game up here is the New Orleans Saints up against the Detroit Lions. Now, I've never seen such bad play, bad coaching by a fucking football team than the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions were up. It felt like they were up 14-0. I think they may have been in this game, and then they just got pounded the rest of the game. It was just unbelievable. I don't understand the coaching there. I don't understand how Matt Patricia, that dumbass pencil-in-the-ear motherfucker, still has a job, probably because he was with Tom Brady for his whole life. It's like how Adam Gase still has a fucking Jets coaching job because he whispered in fucking Peyton Manning's ear one time. New Orleans Saints 35, Detroit Lions 29. I feel so bad for Lions fans because they are just getting coached to death by this fucking dumbass Matt Patricia. I don't understand how they don't have multiple wins. Don't get it. They should have easily won this game, but they lose. Drew Brees' squad increases from 1-2 to 2-2 in this game. The Lions fall to 1-3. I want to talk more about the Lions, though, because I found their game much more interesting. 17 of 31 for Matthew Stafford, 206 yards, 3 tugs, 1 INT. Stafford is just a lock to play every single week, pretty much in your lineup. This was a good matchup up against the Saints, and he did play quite well. Adrian Peterson, 11 for 36 and 1 total tutty. DeAndre Swift, 4 for 22. Again, just such a confusing backfield. I guess if you have to start one, it's probably AP. Kenny Galladay, Kenny G, 4 of 62 and 1 tug. Kenny G, 2 touchdowns, 2 weeks in a row. Looking pretty solid for that Detroit Lions. Definitely Matthew Stafford's favorite target. Marvin Jones just buried 1 for 9. 2 targets. I mean, I expect to bounce back. Just hasn't looked really good this year so far for Marvin Jones. DeAndre Swift, 4 for 30 and 1 tug in the receiving game. Danny Amendola, 2 for 57. Jesse James, 1 for 31. TJ Hockenson, 2 for 9 and 1 touchdown. Terrible game out of Hockenson. Bails us out with that touchdown, even though I kind of was afraid of Hockenson this week, but it seemed like he kind of paid off. Even though I kind of liked him. I liked him and I hated him at the same time because he seemed so risky, but he definitely had a lot of upside up against the Saints defense. Probably should have done better. Drew Brees, 19 of 25 for 246, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. Just did not look all that good. Surprised he even ended up winning. 19 of 83 for Kamara and 1 touchdown. In the receiving game, 3 for 36. So not the Kamara game we've been kind of accustomed to recently, where Kamara just bends over that defense, sticks his fucking fist straight up their ass, and then takes it out and drills them to the oblivion. They're drilling him like fucking Manny from that TV show. Latavius Murray, absolutely Latavius Murray, 14 of 64 and 2 touchdowns, really kind of ruining your day as a Kamara owner. You feel for that. I mean, Latavius was very involved. I don't expect him to be super involved on a weekly basis, though. Good to see, though. If you draft Latavius Murray, obviously, if Alvin Kamara was to go down, you are just going to be eating W's because Latavius Murray gets fed the fucking rock in that scenario. But knock on wood, we like Alvin Kamara. Here, Emmanuel Sanders, 6 of 93 on 9 targets for Traquan Smith, 4 for 54 and 2 touchdowns. I just have no idea what to do while Michael Thomas is gone. I guess you could start both if Thomas misses next week, but I expect him to be back next week. For the Lions, pretty much the only guys you can start, though, are Matthew Stafford and Kenny Bones. The Lions next week are on bye, as well as the Green Bay Packers. So hopefully the Lions can figure their shit out on their bye this week. Next game here, an upset. The Cardinals fall 21-31 to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers advance to 2-2. The Carolina Panthers go to 2-2. The Cardinals fall to 2-2. Now, what the fuck is up here? The Panthers were 0-2 with Christian McCaffrey. Now they're 2-2. They've won 2 games without Christian McCaffrey. 2 games have been lost with him. Now, Mike Davis is going to steal his job. No, I'm just fucking with you. Mike Davis will do fucking nothing once CMC comes back, so don't worry about that. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Don't get all rustled up. Don't get all pissed off about Mike Davis, because once CMC is back, Mike Davis will get thrown into a fucking garbage can. Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Horsecock, 26 of 37 for 2 tuds, 1 INT and 276 yards. Mike Davis, 16 for 84 and a touchdown, as well as 5 for 27 in the receiving game. This guy's just an absolute monster while Christian McCaffrey's gone. Reggie Bonifant, though, getting some carries, 10 for 53, as well as 2 for 18 in the receiving game and 1 touchdown. No one in their right mind started Reggie Bonifant, though. DJ Moore has disappointed this season. He just has. 4 for 49 on 6 targets. I mean, he's just not getting fed. Clearly, Robbie Anderson's the guy there. I'm probably just getting rid of DJ Moore at this point. I don't want anything to do with him, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I'd still play him because he's still fine for 10, 15 points, right? Because he's not that bad. He's not like a complete and utter bust like a guy we're going to talk about later, but he's just not playing up to my expectations because Robbie Anderson is stealing the goddamn show. 8 for 99, no tugs in this game. Great game out of Robbie Anderson. Curtis Samuel also involved, 3 for 51. Now on to the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray, 24 of 31 for 3 touchdowns, 133 yards, as well as 6 for 78 in the rushing game. So even in losses, Kyler Murray's putting up some solid fantasy points. So I'm still bought in on Kyler Murray for fantasy-wise. Definitely not going to win the MVP anymore, though, because the Cardinals team stinks to high heaven. Kenyon Drake, this guy's the guy I was talking about. Complete bust this year. 13 of 35, just hasn't done shit. Chase Edmonds, 4 for 16. Edmonds ends up finding a tug in the receiving game, 5 for 24 and 1 touchdown. Kenyon Drake not involved at all in the receiving game. This Panthers matchup was the ideal matchup for Drake. Now, next week, they get the Jets. So, I mean, if he's bad here, then you just have to be done with him. I'm pretty sure they're playing the Jets next week. If he sucks ass against the Jets, then you're just done with him. I'm very sorry. I honestly thought Drake would be good. I'll admit when I'm wrong here. He just is not getting fed as much as I thought he would. It seems like Kyler Murray's just stealing any opportunity in the red zone to score. And then Chase Edmonds also just vulturing shit. DeAndre Hopkins, 7 for 41 and 9 on 9 targets. So not a great game out of him, but pretty okay in a PPR league. Dan, the Arnoldinator, Dan Arnold, 4 of 39 in the receiving game. I love my Arnold voice. 5 for 24 out of Chase Edmonds and 1 touchdown. Jordan Thomas, 1 of 3 and 1 touchdown as well. Christian Kirk, 3 for 19 and a touchdown. So not so hot of a game out of the Cardinals. I kind of have to expect them to bounce back next week and murder the Jets. Next game here, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, and we saw some vintage Tampa Bay Tom Brady here in this matchup. Tom Brady, 30 of 46 for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdowns on that ass. 369 for 5 and 1 INT. This was unexpected. Really was. Up against the Chargers defense, Brady went to town, just like he does when he kisses his fucking son. He went absolutely apeshit on that Chargers defense. Kind of changing my opinion on him. Now I feel like you can start Brady on a weekly basis, but I don't know, man. Brady looked good week 1 at the beginning, then looked like shit, then hasn't looked good at all this season. So it's very confusing what to do with Tom Brady. I'm probably going to play him now and feel a little bit more confident, though. With Uncle Lenny out, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, 20 for 111. And my God, Ronald Jones, learn to catch the fucking ball. Ronald Jones, 6 for 17 on 9 targets. He had like 3 wide open catches where he's just standing there. It's right in the fucking bread basket right in front of him, and he just doesn't catch it. Like, I just don't understand. Tom Brady looked like he was about to unleash his 7th finger of hell and just shove it right up his ass and fucking hit him with like a Mortal Kombat finisher and just murder the guy. He looked so pissed off. Scotty Miller, the fucking random-ass guy that Tom Brady likes to throw the ball to, 5 of 83 and a touchdown. What do I have to say? I mean, without Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller just seems like a good start. Mike Evans, 7 for 122 and 1 touchdown. He was getting fucking feisty with the corner on the Chargers. He was getting real pissed off. I don't know why he was getting so mad. We're going to talk about another event of getting angry later, which is hilarious, in the next part of the game. Justin Herbert, the pervert, 20 of 25 for 3 tugs, 1 touchdown, and 3 touchdowns, 1 INT, 290 yards. Man, when Tyrod comes back, they better not play his ass, because Justin Herbert looks like the real fucking deal. This guy looks like, this rookie class at quarterback has looked so good so far. Horsecock Joe Burrow, Big Dick Joe, Justin Herbert, the pervert, all looking good. Now I just gotta wait for my guy Tua to fucking play. I mean, Herbert looks very good. Very sad, though, in this game. Austin Eckler hurts his fucking hammy, I believe. Looks like he's gonna miss multiple weeks. Very sad, because Eckler was looking very promising once Herbert came back. Now Kelly, obviously, probably a weekly starter. Joshua Kelly, 3 for 26 in the receiving game, as well as 9 for 7 on the ground. In this game, the Bucs defense is okay. Pretty good up against the rush, though. So, not very surprising that he didn't have a great game. Very sad, though, for Eckler. What can you do, though, when it comes to injuries and shit like that? There's nothing you do. I just hope Austin Eckler's okay. Hopefully, he's good to go in a couple of weeks. Probably going to miss 4 to 6 games, I would say. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just some asshole who talks about fantasy football on the goddamn internet. Jalen Guyton, who the fuck is that guy? 1 for 72 and 1 tug. Keenan Allen, 8 for 62. Solid game out of him. A million guys caught the ball. Some random ass motherfuckers were scoring touchdowns, but a solid game out of Keenan Allen. I expect him to play much better now with Keenan Allen, or with Austin Eckler hurt. Very sad to see, though. Next game here, this is the game that I really want to talk about as well. The Giants lose 9-17 to the LA Rams. The Rams increased their record to 3-1. The New York Football Giants fall to 0-4. Now, what the fuck was this game? The Rams looked like they wanted to lose this game. Sean McVay looked like he bet the mortgage on the Giants, and they just won. It made no sense. Daniel Jones played like dog shit at the end of the game. It was fucking hilarious. Jared Goff legitimately either looks like Patrick Mahomes reincarnated, or he looks like Mitch Trubisky. There's no fucking in between. This guy is either throwing dimes, nailing dimes, looking like a fucking king of the world out there, or he's playing like, I don't even know. He's playing like Mitch Trubisky. He's playing fucking awful. And that's how he played in this game. In a very plus matchup up against the New York Football Giants. 25 of 32 for 1 tug. No INTs, though. Malcolm Brown, 9 for 37. Did Darrell Henderson retire? 8 for 22. What the fuck is that? The Giants' run defense couldn't stop you, the viewer who's watching this video. Nevertheless, they fucking stopped Darrell Henderson. It made no goddamn sense. For the receiving game, Cooper Kupp, 5 for 69 and 1 touchdown. Very nice. Robert Woods, 6 for 35. Disappointing game out of both of them in amazing matchups. It made no fucking sense. I expect both those guys to wake up next week, though, from that hibernation. For the Giants passing game, Danny Dimes looking like Danny fucking terrible. What's going to happen here? I mean, this is a really weird situation. Do they lose? They lose out. What happens here? What happens if they get the first pick? Do they draft Trevor Lawrence? Do they trade it? Can Trevor Lawrence survive with such a shit offensive line? I have no idea. I don't even know that I am sold out on Daniel Jones because I like Daniel Jones. I think he's good. I just don't know what the fuck this team's doing. 23 of 36, 190 yards, 1 INT. Wayne Gallman, 6 for 45. Danny Dimes, 6 for 45 in the rushing game. Devontae Freeman, leading rusher, 11 for 33. For the receiving game, Darius Slayton, 3 for 48. Freeman, 4 for 35. Ingram, 6 for 35. Now, in this game, the funniest shit happened. I don't even remember who it was. It was Jalen Ramsey and someone on the Giants. Apparently, Jalen Ramsey knocked up this guy's sister, and the guy was fucking pissed. And Jalen Ramsey was just dumpstering over this guy. It was fucking hilarious. And there was a fight afterwards. Now, obviously, I feel bad for the guy's sister. Jalen Ramsey, scumbag, fucking left her. I don't know the whole situation, to be honest with you. It was just a funny situation because Jalen Ramsey was absolutely butt-fucking this guy during the game, and he was getting so pissed off. There was a whole fight afterwards. Very interesting, something to kind of watch afterwards, but has nothing to do with fantasy football. I just thought it was funny. Next game here, Big Dick Nick versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I have a bone to pick with you, Big Dick Nicholas. What the hell was this? 11-19, you lost to the fucking Colts. The Colts advanced to 3-1. The Chicago Bears fall to 3-1. 9-inch Nick, 26 of 42 for 249, 1 touchdown and 1 INT. Nick Foles looked like fucking Carson Wentz in the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, the first 3 quarters he looked like Small Dick Nick. In the fourth quarter, he looked like Big Dick Nick. I have no idea what the fuck this guy's doing. He's looking like 2 different guys. He's bi-fucking-polar in the NFL. It made no sense. The team looked awful the first 3 quarters, and then right when Nick Foles, his eyes lit up red, right? It was bing! I need to fucking throw some touchdowns. And Nick Foles threw some dimes up the field and advanced them up the field, and they still end up losing. Wake the fuck up, Nick Foles. Next game, Nick Foles is bouncing bike. I expect it. I expect a big game out of Big Dick Nick. Allen Robinson, 7 of 101 and 1 tutty. Great game out of him. I expect this every single game. It took him till the fourth quarter to wake up, but who gives a fuck? He made one of the best catches I've seen so far this year. Even on the side of the screen, it says Allen Robinson leaps for incredible touchdown. That shit was magnifique. It was beautiful. Great tutty out of Allen Robinson. Great game, though, out of A-Rod. For the rushing game, 10 for 27 for David Montgomery, but he did make it up 3 for 30 in the receiving game. Kind of a bad kind of scheme. What is it? Bad game script, I would say, for David Montgomery. Kind of just down the whole game. Didn't really get an opportunity to run. When I kind of expect this game to be more back and forth, it was very low scoring. Besides that, Donnell Monet, 5 for 52. Jimmy Graham, 4 for 33. So down game out of those guys, 3 for 16 for Anthony Miller. 4 Phil the Thrill Rivers, 16 of 29 for 190 and 1 touchdown. Very unimpressive game from both quarterbacks. Jonathan Taylor, 17 for 68, 1 yard off of being very nice. Jonathan Taylor, 1 for 11 in the receiving game. I mean, what was this game? It was so weird. Jonathan Taylor, this is a premier matchup for him. He should have went to fucking Pound Town on the Bears and didn't. I'm not pissed off at Jonathan Taylor. I wouldn't be pissed off at him for the future. I think he's going to be fine. Just very weird to see. T.Y. Hilton, another dud, 3 for 29. Just get T.Y. Hilton off your team. Cut him too. Him and A.J. Green, the 2 guys with the fucking dots in their name, are just awful. Just awful. I told you guys not to start on those. Zach Pascal, 3 for 58. The 1 touchdown went to big man Mo Alley Cox. Mo Cox. Just dominating every week. Fucking beast. Phillip Rivers does love those tight ends, like I always say, because that's why he has 11 children. So before we get into the last game, the Eagles versus the 49ers, if you guys have ended up enjoying, please make sure to slap that subscribe button down below. Make sure to hit that like button as well if you have enjoyed it. Make sure you leave a comment. I try to read them all. I can't answer all of them because there's too many of you motherfuckers now. It's unbelievable, the support I've seen. I really want to thank you guys so much. It means the world to me. I think this week we may be able to hit 9,000 subscribers. My goal is 10,000 by the end of the season, but we are going to murder that goal. We're going to hit fucking 12,000 by the end of the season is my goal now. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. It just really does mean the world to me, all the support I've seen. I understand most people are just here for fucking fantasy football. They don't give a shit about how happy I am about where we've gotten, but it really does mean a lot. Thank you guys all so much from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it. And I will continue to work just as hard for you guys, regardless of where I get. If I had fucking 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, I'd still be here every fucking day, working just as hard because I want to make sure that this is something that I take a lot of pride in, honestly. So the Eagles, 25-20 of the San Francisco 49ers. Now the fucking Eagles are leading the NFC East 1-2-1. The Niners fall to 2-2. I have no idea how to talk about this game, really. Wentz didn't even look good. 18 of 28 for 193, 6.9 average. Very nice. 1 tutty, 1 INT. Didn't even look that great, but he looked good when they needed to. Big Dick Nick Mullins gets bunched for Big Dick's Beathard. 14 of 19 for Beathard, 138, almost led them to win the game. 18 of 26 for 200 yards for Mullins, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. Clearly now there's no quarterback controversy there. Some people were calling for Mullins to be the guy. Jimmy G clearly is the guy when healthy. Jerick McKinnon bailed out by a late game touchdown, 14 of 54 for 1 touchdown for Ayuk, 1 of 38 and 1 touchdown. Ayuk seems to be the real deal in this offense. Seems like a weekly starter as well, even with Debo back. Speaking of Debo, 3 for 35 in his return. And George Kittle had a reckoning in his return. A reckoning of the opponent's anus. 15 for 183 on 15 targets, 100%, 183 fucking yards. You probably won your week if you started George Kittle. By God. By God, what a game out of George Kittle, me timbers. For the rest of the Eagles, I don't even know what to say. Sanders did okay, 13 of 46, as well as 2 for 30 on the ground, but Sanders was missed on multiple passes. Like, Wentz, I don't know if Wentz is fucking doing his Stevie Wonder impression or something, but there's guys just wide open, and he's throwing it fucking right over him. I don't understand, man. I really don't. Wentz just does not look like the guy he used to be. Travis Fulgham, who the fuck is that guy? 2 for 57 and 1 touchdown. That's all I really have to say about this game. I feel like Miles Sanders will be fine. I like McKinnon when Mostert is gone. I also like Wilson, but Wilson 3 for 6 shit the bed here in this game. 1 for 13. Normally a guy who scores a million touchdowns just did nothing in this game. Kittle, though, sheesh, what a game out of Kittle. Another guy I called for you guys to trade for. Huge round of applause for me, and a huge round of applause for you for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate you guys coming here and staying the whole video. If you did end up enjoying, again, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. I love you all. The support has been unreal. We're going to hit 9,000 subscribers this week. Bet on it like your name is Troy Bolton. So thank you all for watching. Make sure you guys check out the content coming later today. I will have a great rest of my day, and you better have a great rest of your guys' day. I hope you guys had a fun week in fantasy football. Even if you lost, I hope you had a fun time watching the game, and I hope you had a fun time watching my videos last week. I will continue to try to put out the best content on the internet for fantasy football so that you guys can have the most fun winning your season. So have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. Thank you guys all so much for the support again. Have a great rest of your guys' day, and I'll see you motherfuckers later with another banger of a video. As always, good boy.